Hello students, today we are going to cover an important chapter of class 6th science, which is chapter 8, a journey through the states of water. Now before starting the chapter, let me introduce myself a little bit. So I am Raghav Daksh, currently pursuing history honors from University of Delhi College of Vocational Studies. Now let's dive into our chapter. So we need to understand what are the three states of water first. So the first state is solid, which is ice. Okay. The second stage is liquid, which is water, and the third state is gas, which is water vapor or steam. Okay. Now water changes its state with heat or cooling. So water can change its state from solid to liquid and to gas. So how does this work? When we give heat to the liquid form of water, it will turn into water vapor or steam. But when we cool it down into the fridge, it will turn into ice. Okay, so either we need to apply heat onto the water, or we need to apply cooling onto the water. So it will change its state. Okay, now ice melts into water. The process is known as melting. Water evaporates into vapor. The process is known as evaporation. Vapor condenses into water. This process is called condensation. And the water freezes into ice, and it is known as freezing. When we refrigerate anything, if we cool down the water, this process is known as freezing. Now, these are the key processes. Okay, you need to learn these processes: melting, freezing, evaporation, and condensation. We have already seen before that melting is when ice turns into water or liquid, when the solid turns into liquid. When water, which is the liquid form, turns into ice, which is solid form, this process is called freezing. And when water turns into water vapor or gas, this process is called evaporation. And the condensation is when water vapor turns into water, or we can say when the gas turns into liquid. States and their properties. Now, different state of water has its own property. For example, if we talk about solid, which is ice cube, it has a fixed shape, it doesn't have any flow, it cannot be spread, and it has a fixed volume also. Now, if we talk about liquid, liquid has no fixed shape. It can turn into any particular shape. If you put it into a glass, it will take all the volume of that glass and turn into the glass shape. If you put it into a bowl, it will take the bowl shape. So it has no fixed shape. It has a flow. Okay, it can be spread. Okay, if you put it into a surface, it will spread. It has a fixed volume, and for example, water. Now, if we talk about gas state of water, so gas has no fixed shape too. It can compress into any shape. It also has flow. It can flow through pipe, or it can flow through anything. Okay, it can be spread, and it has no fixed volume. The gas has no fixed volume. If you talk about solid and liquid, they both have a fixed volume, but gas doesn't have a fixed volume. Example, water vapor and steam. Now, some important observations and experiments which you can also do at your home. Ice in a cup melts into water. So if we put ice into a cup and wait for it to melt down, it will turn into water. Same substance, different states. So you can see that the substance is same. The water first it was ice, and when we started melting it, it will turn into water. So it will change the state of its own. Water puddles disappear, which is due to evaporation. Now, evaporation takes place when you heat the water. If you put water into a pan and you will heat it on the gas stove, you'll realize that it will turn into water vapor and it will disappear after a time. Okay. Now, cold glass forms water droplets outside. You must have seen that even in the cold drinks, if you put cold drink into a glass, or if you put cold water into a glass, it will create water droplets outside the glass. So this is due to condensation of water vapor from air. Okay. Now, covering hot water with plate forms droplet on it. Steam condenses into water. When you heat a water into the pan and you'll cover it with a plate, later on you'll realize that when you take out the plate, you'll realize that the water vapor will turn into small droplets, and this process is known as condensation, because the steam that is coming up is turning into droplets. So this process is called condensation. Now it's water cycle. So first, it is evaporation. Water from oceans, rivers, lakes turns into vapor. Now, due to heat of the sun, the water will turn into water vapor, and it will start rising up in the form of water vapor. Then condensation takes place. Vapor cools in the sky and forms clouds. Now, you see, here is the water. The sun is, because of heat of the sun, the water will turn into water vapor and it will go up and it will turn into a cloud. Alright, and then after precipitation takes place. Precipitation. Now, it's precipitation. Water falls as rain, snow, or hail. So when the water goes up due to heat, it will turn into a cloud. Then it will come down on the earth in the form of rain, snow, or hail. This process is called precipitation. Then collection, the rainwater goes back to rivers, ocean, etc. Even the water conservation also takes place, rainwater harvesting, such as. So these are the activities that are done due to save water or to conserve water, and then water comes back to earth in the form of rivers, ocean, etc. Even the sea. Now this whole circulation is called water cycle. Now evaporation is the process when the water turns into water vapor or steam. So this few of the factors are there which increases the evaporation process. First one is heat. When we heat the water or in the hot days, we realize that the evaporation is faster. The second factor is wind. On the windy days, it will increase evaporation. Example, when the clothes are wet, generally what we do is we put them on the railing, and the fast wind evaporates all the water on the clothes. The surface area, water spread in a plate evaporates faster than in a bottle. Now, when we put the water on the plate, you'll realize that it will evaporate faster compared to a bottle of water. Alright, so the surface area also matters. Humidity, on rainy or humid days, evaporation is slower because moisture is there in the environment. Now, examples of evaporation are wet clothes drying, water on utensils drying, mopped floor drying, sweating, sprinkled water on hot dosa pan, alcohol or sanitizer evaporating quickly. Condensation in the daily life. Now, condensation is the process where the water vapor or gas turns into small droplets of water. Now, dew on leaves in the morning. On the leaves, you'll realize that small droplets of water are there in the morning. Fogging of cold drink glass. When you put cold drink into a glass, you'll realize that the glass create fog around it. So this is also the condensation process. Water droplets on steel plate over boiling water. So when you are heating the water or you are boiling the water into a pan and you'll place a steel plate on it, small droplets of water will be there. So this is also the condensation process. Conservation of water. Now, water is limited and essential, as we all know. Water is our responsibility before it is our right. So, avoid wasting water, prevent pollution, and reuse wisely. So, we always have to conserve the water by a few steps. For example, rainwater harvesting or not using too much water while bathing, etc. Yeah, so this was all about this chapter. I hope you understood everything. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and you can comment down your doubts if you have any. I'll try to answer them as fast as I can, and subscribe to the channel if you like it, if you want more such videos. Till then, we'll meet soon in the next video. All right, bye bye.